No, Chrystia Freeland's going to put a list together. We're going to put our list together, and I'm sure the other provinces will as well. But we will go to the full extent, depending how far this goes. We will go to the extent of cutting off their energy, going down to Michigan, going down to New York State, and over to Wisconsin. I don't want this to happen, but my number one job is to protect Ontarians and Canadians as a whole, since we're the largest province.
We talked about how the Canada-US economic relationship is balanced and mutually beneficial, how Canada is the largest market for the United States, larger than China, Japan, the UK, and France combined. We discussed how all of us are working hard to explain the value of that economic relationship to our American counterparts, that it is a win-win. The Prime Minister started the meeting by thanking premiers for their active and effective outreach work. We are taking a Team Canada approach. A number of premiers spoke out strongly in favor of a robust Canadian response to unjustified tariffs. Some premiers proactively identified products that their provinces produce and export to the United States, and which the US relies on, and which should be considered as part of the Canadian response. This included some critical minerals and metals. We are taking a Team Canada approach. We know that this is a moment when Canada needs to be strong, smart, and united. And we know that when Canada is strong, smart, and united, when we play as a team, we can be effective and we will win. We recognize, the Prime Minister, Minister LeBlanc and I, and all of the premiers, that this is a serious moment for Canada, and we are resolute and determined to meet that moment.
I want to start off talking about tariffs. The threat of Donald Trump's tariffs, 25% across the board, is a direct threat to hundreds and thousands of Canadian jobs. Imagine what it feels like right now for a worker in a trade-sensitive sector who's wondering, will my job be the first to go when those tariffs are put in place? This is serious. That doesn't just mean that that worker loses their job, the entire family is impacted. So what is the response to these serious threats by the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister is telling us it's okay, oh, he's just joking, Donald Trump's just making jokes, no big deal. It is a big deal. On top of that, what we're seeing from Trudeau is that anytime Trump says jump, he says how high. That is not strength, that is not actually responding to what's going on. And then, when Trump trash talks Canada, we got the leader of the Conservative Party repeating that garbage. That hurts Canada, that hurts Canadian workers. What we need to do is acknowledge that Trump is a bully. Bullies look for weakness. That's why he's trolling us. So we need to send a message of strength. We need to have a real war room ready to go, fighting for Canadian jobs with unions at the table. We need to put in place and get ready to put in place retaliatory tariffs. We have to make it clear, if Trump picks this fight, it's going to hurt both of us, and it's not a fight that he wants. We have to show strength, that we're willing to do whatever it takes to protect Canadian jobs. We have to also make sure it's very clear that tariffs on Canada don't just hurt Canadians, it's going to hurt Americans. We need to make that message very clear, make sure the pain is felt, and so he knows this is not the direction he wants to go.
But of course, as important as representation is, it's also a means to an end, not just an end in itself. Representation matters because when women are properly represented in our politics, better choices are made for women and for the country as a whole. Choices such as Canada-wide childcare after 50 years of trying, the first ever federal gender-based violence strategy, and bringing in tougher gun laws that directly protect women, and of course, soon, free prescription contraceptives, because we don't just believe in a woman's right to choose, we act on it. Now, it shouldn't be that way. It wasn't supposed to be that way. We were supposed to be on a steady, if difficult sometimes, march towards progress. And yet, just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president. Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist. You will always have an ally in me and in my government.